financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is inflammatory and inflationary times and how Chapter 13 can save your home and eliminate credit card debt. It's a long title. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Ken. You know, if you say that 10 times fast, the show will be over.
I had to work on saying it once and get it through. Inflammatory and inflationary all together. Jeffrey Linden.
Good morning, Ken. Welcome back.
Thank you. Jeffrey Kirshner.
Good morning. I think both of those issues are not going away for a while.
I would have to say that that's probably true. My take on the inflammatory times is I think it is what it is.
It's heating up, should you say?
Yeah. And I think I was kind of thinking about it. I said, what can we say about it? And I said, I think about it, the best we can do is to say, try not to add to it.
Right.
Because if you try and resolve it, it seems like that adds to it. But that's the inflammatory times. Now for the inflationary times. More issues. This is tough. I mean, we went through such a long period of virtually no inflation. Do you guys remember? You guys are a little bit younger than me. Do you remember the inflation in the 70s?
You were alive in the 70s, right?
I know,
see.
but I would say I'm a
When I was
lot
playing
of
dodgeball.
I was going to say I'm a lot of it younger than him, and I think I was in elementary school at the time.
Well, where were you when the Tigers won the World Series in '68?
I was 1.
Also, one.
I was not one quite yet.
Okay, that was a big event. I was, I think, 14, so that's our spread.
Okay, old man, not a problem.
And I mean, there was nothing bigger than in '68 because I mean they won in '84, which was also big, but in '68, that was the time they had won, and they hadn't won for eons, and that was before free agency. That was when
it's almost like they haven't won for eons again.
The Stars were everything to you. I mean, if we win now, it'd be great. I like the Tigers, but you win, and then half of your team leaves from free agency. In those days, you know, Al Kaline, Norm Cash, Bill Freehan, these guys were your idols, and they weren't going anywhere. They were there the year before, they were there the year after. So that was great. Anyway, but back to inflationary times. So borrowing costs are way up, housing, cars, credit cards, food costs, vacationary and discretionary items, everything is up. And, you know, so where's that going to leave us? I mean,
Poorer.
Yeah.
Period. Poorer, less discretionary spending, more intelligent spending needs to happen because there's still a need to put food on the table, pay the electric bill and the gas bill, and keep the roof over your head. So it's a time where we need to start really examining special spending.
So Brian's, you know, the budget wizard. And, you know, so like, does that mean if I was working with you on the budget before this all happened a year ago,
you would be in much better shape than you would be if you weren't working with
and we
me.
were stable on, we had a budget and we had a food budget.
Mm-hmm.
And we had everything going the way you want. And now, a year later, I'm in with you and I'm saying, you know, eggs have tripled in price, and the $500 a week you gave me for groceries for the family for food.
$500 a week? That would be great. That's a lot of money for family.
Well, that was also for restaurant dining and everything else, or whatever the number is. Let's just say it was $300 a week, okay? Now I'm telling you for that $300, I'm only getting 70% of the food items.
That's about right.
Are you going to tell me I have to switch what I'm eating? How
No,
are we going to solve the
again-
problem? Are you going to tell me I have to go to Spam?
No, no one should have to go to Spam unless you're from
Some
Hawaii.
people like
If you're from
Spam,
Hawaii,
obviously.
it's a big deal in Hawaii, actually.
So what is your
So,
advice to someone like that?
everything that has to do with budgeting is determining what must be spent and what discretionary spending you have. As the money pool dries up, which is exactly what it feels like, even though people are earning more now, with inflation between 7 and 8% or more, people are bringing home
Less
effectively
disposable
less
income.
disposable income. And we're going to have to make choices about what we spend our money on, what discretionary spending we have, and what we're doing with our credit
But
card
wait,
debt.
you took my Starbucks away before the inflationary times and made me buy a coffee machine.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever attended any of our
Right.
seminars, okay.
Well, the other
So
thing-
I can't cut out Starbucks. Are you going to make me sell my coffee machine now?
No, you're missing the point. The point is that within most people's budgets, there is a level of discretionary spending. You choose where it goes, and that is the pool of money
That goes away.
That goes away. If you have no discretionary spending, then we have to start looking at
Trading.
what we can do to reduce your expenses, and that may mean for young people who are in their first apartment living alone, getting a roommate. It may mean that for older people who are on a fixed income, trying to, again, either reduce their discretionary spending or cutting back in certain places, going down to one car, things
So-
like that. There are choices to
So
be
if
made.
discretionary spending was unnecessary spending on what you want, you're saying that's what you have to basically get rid of
You have to
if you
reduce
want to
or eliminate.
maintain your budget priority.
But that's a true statement. It's what's going to happen. It's just a question of whether or not, in
Well, let
order
me
to
give you the
avoid
flip
it,
side.
do you avoid going into debt?
Well, that's where we're going. CNBC on May 10th. Consumer credit card debt and annual percentage rates are headed to an all-time high. We're up to $841 billion in credit card debt, and interest rates are going up. And after the break, we'll talk about that.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP.
I was married for 57 years before my husband died.
Samasco Law had established a trust for them before this happened.
There's so much to do in the beginning, but after about a month, you're kind of alone.
We deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
If you continue to have good support and know that your finances and your estate is in order, that's one thing that's so comforting. I would just highly recommend Samasco Law.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. All right, so this credit card debt. We're talking about extra credit in the market. People are opening new accounts. 229 credit account. I think it was, 229 million. I wrote the number wrong. New credit card accounts opened in the first quarter of 2022.
It's a scary thought.
It's insane what's going on when you think about that. And they're talking about interest rates climbing all the way to 18%.
So now think,
as far as the average interest rate.
And they said there was another article I read that said the average new credit card interest rate is hovering close to 20%.
Wow.
And what is the line of credit? Do you guys know what the introductory credit line is typically in these now?
Well, that varies. I mean, some cards open up a line of $2,000. Some open up a line higher. It depends.
Yeah.
I hate to use the word, but it
30,000,
basically usually depends on FICO credit score kind of a thing.
And if it's a store credit or a
So
commercial.
think about this though. If interest rates are higher and you're still paying your minimum monthly payment, what you're going to see is in that little box
More
it
years.
says how long it takes you to pay it off at the minimum monthly payment. The average, if you looked at about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that number had gotten down to about 16 years on the minimum monthly. It's just still a tremendously long period of time.
Go way
but
up.
it's going to go up to the 29, 30, 35 years. And you'll be paying your credit card debt forever.
Yeah, because it's even then, it's not 25 years. Because it's 25 years if you don't charge anything else.
Right.
Right.
But every time you charge something else, the balance is going up, and then it re-amortizes.
The mistake people are making already is thinking that this economy is going to turn around real quick, because it has in the past, and that we're going to end up, I'll be making more money, I'll be able to pay it down, inflation will go away. I'm not so sure about that. When you read what is coming, every financial expert is predicting a recession. The question is
I'm not quite there with you on that. What I'm hearing is 30% chance of a recession, 40%, 28%.
but they're also talking about it not being one of these V-shaped recessions where we go in and go out. They're talking about either a W-shaped recession where we're going to go in, go out, and go back in again before we come back out, or worst case scenario is an L-shaped recession where you are in recession for an extraordinarily long period of time, similar to the Depression or the Great Recession of 08-09. So we got a lot to worry about, and what you as an individual need to worry about is not putting yourself in a position where you are in debt up to your eyeballs, thinking it's going to go away like that.
I started out this morning at, in a good mood, driving in for the show. It's like, Sunday morning, everything's cool, and looking at life on a positive note. And then I come in and we have this discussion with...
You're the one that created the topic, my friend.
With Debbie Downer here.
You're the one that created the topic.
We're going to have an L-shaped... I've never even heard of an L-shaped recession.
Well, maybe you should have been an economics major in college like I was.
But going back to it I don't know if I agree with your long-term assessment, but I think we all agree that we're in a problem that's not going to go away in a very short period of time. And if your income remains stable, which is always an if, and your expenses go up, it's going to impact the 3-point retirement plan.
Yep.
It's going to impact your budget, and your debt's going to rise if you end up spending more than you're making. So that's a big problem. And here's what I did think about, going back to like being on the downside. What did we learn from the financial crisis? What we learned in the financial crisis is that when things do get bad, the lenders are going to be quicker to pull the plug on your available credit than they would have been back in the 80s.
It's funny
because when we went through the financial crisis, that's what they did, and every time since then, the anticipation is they'll do it quicker this time.
I was thinking, since credit card debt has reached $841 billion and had dropped as low as $700 billion during the pandemic, I was thinking that what did we learn in the financial crisis? I think it's zero. We learned absolutely nothing. We haven't learned to stay away from credit card debt. We haven't learned to stop leveraging ourselves. People are, up until the fact that interest rates just shot up from 2 3/4 to 5.5 on a 30-year fixed, people were pulling money out of their houses left and right now. Equity got created because of a hot real estate market, and people are yanking that money out and doing stuff with it instead of recognizing that they need to protect themselves for their future.
That's their future, and that's their retirement. And that's true. But I mean, that's to some extent that's human nature, and things are cyclical. But we've learned certain things that have occurred, and what we've learned is the banking industry is not going to help you. And what's going to happen with all these people right now is they're still making credit available. They're going to bump the interest rates, but as soon as you falter in payment or your credit is reaching out at the max, you're going to get the letter from Bank of America, Chase, Discover saying, you know, we like you very much, but we're trimming your available credit to $7 more than you currently owe us. Please continue to make your payments on time. And when that happens, that's when, if you don't take action before that point, that's when everything falls apart. Because if you no longer can borrow on the cards, you can't make your current payments. Then you fall behind on the house, you fall behind on the credit cards, you fall behind on the car payments.
You know, on top of it, we're seeing a lot of aggressive action from credit card companies where people have been defaulted. And during the main part of the pandemic, none of them were suing anybody, and now they're suing everybody. There's lawsuits left and right. So it's coming to a head. People don't see it because people are still flush with cash to a certain extent, but their cash is dwindling.
Diminishing fast. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We're going to do a case study on Randy and Sarah.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Pat was recommended by a friend who insisted that we really needed a trust. And he said, I know somebody who will do a good job for you.
At Samasco Law, we deal with estate planning and trusts every day.
We had excellent service from Samasco Law. Any questions we had were addressed. Our estate is in order, and it had been set up so well that nothing needed to be done. I would just highly recommend Samasco Law.
Time for announcements. So I remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m., Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m., and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Live seminars are back. Wednesday, June 8th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., How to Make Debt a Thing of the Past. We'll go to all the methods we use to eliminate debt so that you can try and keep pace with your debt to actually save money for your future. Well, the whole goal is so you have something to retire with when that time comes. Debt elimination is a key part of that process. We're going to have a special segment with Jeff Linden on how to resolve tax issues. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up for that one the same way, thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. Just call our offices, 888-235-HELP, or go online, and there's boxes to click to sign up for a free consultation. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, elder law issues with Pat or Jim Samasco, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Sign up at lawandreality.com or call 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Also, go online, check out the free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by myself and Jeff Linden. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Okay, let's do a case study. Randy and Sarah, they are 9 months behind on their house payment, $80,000 of credit card debt, $20,000 in medical bills. They owe $20,000 in back taxes from 2017. Their foreclosure date is July 15th, 2022. Their monthly budget, they got $76.50 coming in, net of taxes. Their mortgage payment's high. It's a $3,000 mortgage payment. $750 they're paying on back taxes, $2,000 on credit cards, $450 on medical bills, utilities, cell phone, Randy's car, Sarah's car, gas, auto, food. Total expenses are coming to $10,400 a month. They're negative $2,750. This explains why they're 5 months behind or 9 months behind on their on a house payment and why they have all this credit card debt.
And this is a typical situation where we're seeing households going from two incomes to one income, and the reality is they have no choice in what they have to do.
They're $27,000 behind on their mortgage.
Right. They want to save their home. They're going to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, or they're going to write a check for $27,500
So what does the bankruptcy accomplish for them?
So
why is that their solution?
Well, Chapter 13 does a number of things. One, it allows them to catch up the arrears on their house, and not immediately. It gives them 60 months to catch up.
All right, so if you're $27,000 behind, 60 months means they pay $450 a month to catch up?
Yeah, $450. Now,
so why don't they just call the lender and say, I'll give you $450 a month plus the regular payment for the next 5 years?
The lender isn't going to do that because two things. One, they should have sought a loan modification a lot earlier to try and, if they wanted to try and do that and avoid a bankruptcy. But assuming that they didn't, which is what happened here, it's actually more worthwhile today in real estate for the lender to foreclose than it is for them to modify the mortgage and fix
Yeah,
it.
and no matter what, the lender would never do that.
Yeah, they just don't.
Okay, so what happens?
So what we do in Chapter 13 is we figure out what's the most important debt, and we pay the debts in order of most important to least important. So the most important debt in this case is the house. And when we look at their budget, if we eliminated the credit card debt, like pretended it didn't exist, and eliminated the tax repayment, pretended it didn't exist, they actually have $750 a month to work with. $750 is more than the $450 that they need to catch the house up. So we can save the house. Now, the other $300 is going to go towards the back taxes and the credit card debt in order of importance.
Are these taxes dischargeable?
So certain income taxes are
Jeff?
dischargeable and certain ones aren't.
These are, as long as they're income taxes and as long as they filed their returns and the government didn't file a substitute for return for them for that.
Because
tax
it's
year.
more than 3 years old,
Right.
Right.
filed for more than 2 years,
Right.
hasn't been
And assessed,
assessed.
yeah.
So do you have to pay anything back on the taxes?
No, in this case, because their income taxes are all over 3 years old and have been filed in a timely fashion, they do not.
So that 450 of the 750 is going to cure the mortgage.
Correct.
The other 300 is going to what? You got fees,
It's going to
don't
take
you?
care of the attorney fees, the trustee fees, and pay Visa, MasterCard,
Like a
and
penny on the
medical
dollar.
bills.
Like a penny on the dollar.
Sometimes, let's say they only had $500. It would still be a solvable problem, and they would have zero going to the medical
So
bills and zero going to the credit
So
cards.
at the end of the chapter 13, where are they?
They're plus $750 a month,
No credit card debt.
and they're current on their house,
No
no credit
medical
card
bills.
debt, no medical bills, and no tax debt. It's using the money that they have on the table right now more effectively, because their other choices is that they're going to be living in a tent because their house got foreclosed. That's a problem.
So if they said to you, Randy says, but what about my credit score?
So interestingly, credit scores, not only do they heal, but even in Chapter 13 bankruptcies, they get better. I've had clients that can refinance. Well, we don't do refinancing in bankruptcy anymore, but buy a new car during bankruptcy, lease a new car, get a credit card. All the things that you think that you couldn't be able to do are available out there now.
Well, plus, by the time they're coming to you for the bankruptcy with this situation, their credit score's in the hole anyway.
It is.
Yeah, because
It's only gonna get better.
They've tapped out their credit and they're 9 months behind on their mortgage. Once you're 30 days behind on your mortgage, your credit score goes through the roof. That's a wrap. Chapter 13 is a savior for these two guys. Have a great week. We'll be back with next week with Law and Reality.